powerful tech giants and governments are deploying AI technologies without proper oversight, accountability, or regard for ethical considerations. These are the alarming issues raised by journalist Whitney Webb in her latest interview. In this video, we'll take a deep dive into Webb's revelations about the lack of transparency surrounding AI algorithms developed by companies like OpenAI and Microsoft. We'll explore her concerns about data privacy violations, job displacement, the use of flawed facial recognition in law enforcement, and the potential for AI systems to make life or death decisions in warfare without human moral considerations. Webb also warns about the broader implications of blindly trusting AI systems and outsourcing decision-making to opaque algorithms that may perpetuate biases or serve the interests of the ruling class. Her insights shed light on the urgent need for greater scrutiny, oversight, and ethical guidelines in the development and deployment of these powerful technologies. So, buckle up as we delve into this interview. I'd greatly appreciate it if you could spare a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks. Enjoy the video.
OpenAI is like not an open source company. Like they don't make it clear, like, you know, their algorithms and all that stuff are like not transparent. So yeah, I mean, it's open in name only, for sure in that case. And I think a lot of people too just like see OpenAI as like its own thing, but really it's essentially like Microsoft at this point. So it's like part of the big tech thing. You know, and Microsoft is involved with a lot of weird stuff going on with AI, specifically with like Windows. Like they're essentially saying like your data is not your data, it's our data. We take your data off of your Windows computer and feed it to our AI. Like that's a requirement you have to agree to use Windows now. And like if they decide to lock you out of your Microsoft account for some reason, you lose all of your data. So your data is not your data on Microsoft now. And that is like an awful business model to support, I think. And I hopefully other people feel that way too. Like I don't want to use Microsoft products if that's how it's going to be.
Webb concerns about the use of AI algorithms like ChatGPT, mentioning how they are being utilized to replace jobs, particularly in the writing and news industries. There is a fear that AI technologies are being overhyped, leading to inaccurate predictions and biased outcomes. The interview also touches on the potential misuse of AI in law enforcement, citing examples of facial recognition technology being inaccurate and racially biased, which can have severe consequences for individuals. OpenAI is essentially a part of Microsoft, a major tech company involved in various AI projects. She expresses concern about Microsoft's data collection practices, where users' data from Windows computers is collected and fed into their AI systems without explicit consent, to ensure AI systems are accurate, fair, and aligned with human values.
ChatGPT is being used for like so much stuff and is being used to like replace people's jobs and potentially entire industries, specifically like staff writers and like more like low level like news desk people. Like there's already major publications that have entirely phased out their staff in that sense. I don't think that's something we should really be supporting. AI industry, like any other large industry that has a lot of money being thrown around in it, there's corruption, right? And there's companies that like oversell how effective their AI algos are. So the big problem is what happens. It's not so much about like regular people's trust. It's also about like what happens when the state or like law enforcement or government give AI algorithms power over people's lives that are not accurate and should not be trusted and are not vetted. It's just that company got the contract because they have connections. That happens with every other industry. Why would it not happen with AI? What happens when a company, a facial recognition company with connections to a Silicon Valley billionaire that paid and donated to this politician's campaign or whatever, gets the contract, you know, to do live facial recognition for law enforcement in various counties or an entire state. And, you know, they identify people and it's extremely inaccurate, or it's racially biased, which has been a problem for several years, well known and documented about law enforcement use of facial recognition. Those are big issues. It's actually happened to a very significant degree already in the United Kingdom, where you have They know, like the Met Police know it's inaccurate and it's causing problems and identifying the wrong people, but they're not going to try and change the company. They're not phasing out live facial recognition. It seems like they don't care it's inaccurate and that accuracy isn't the point. AI becomes a lot more complicated then. It's not just like how regular people down on the bottom levels react to it. It's also like, why is the government and these other entities giving so much power to AI technology that isn't proven and isn't vetted? There's a lot of overhype in AI. We also know that there's accuracy issues with AI. There's a thing, for example, called like AI hallucinations, where it like returns output that just doesn't exist. And then you have people like Kissinger and Schmidt in their book argue that what AI is seeing in those cases is a different reality that just humans can't see, that we should trust in the AI's delusions, essentially, and have that supersede our own perception of reality. But the problem is when you have it like doing facial recognition for law enforcement, or what we're seeing with Gaza right now, AI being choosing who lives and who dies. Or that's also being fielded in Ukraine too, like AI in warfare, before this more recent conflict in the Middle East broke out. That has major impacts, and they seem to not care about the accuracy. It's not more accurate. You can just have machine go on autopilot, and you're not going to have humans in the equation saying that's immoral. I'm not going to kill. I'm not going to bomb that house with kids in it. The machine's not going to do that. Accountability thing is another big thing, because it's basically like the analogy I use for this is like the Wizard of Oz. Like AI is the ultimate Wizard of Oz for the ruling class. Like they can just literally do whatever they want and say, oh, well, we're just doing what the AI algo said, and it's so smart, and it can't. This is in the Schmidt Kissinger book too. It's so smart, it can't explain itself. We just have to do what it says, because it's so smart. And everyone has to essentially, through blind faith and some sort of like religious like devotion, believe that it's smarter without proof, because it's being hyped as that, and just basically outsource how we perceive reality and events to like algorithms being designed by these Silicon Valley crazy people.
It's up to all of us to stay vigilant and advocate for responsible AI development that prioritizes privacy, individual autonomy, and the well-being of society as a whole. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.